Hello crafters and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm G. Guess what time it is? It's paper pumpkin time! Maddie and I are so excited. We have created 8 alternatives to show you, and I am going to create 2 cards with you right now. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get started. Okay, you need to pull out your trimmer. And we are going to take one of the cards that they have in the paper pumpkin kit and we are going to cut it at a diagonal. Now the way to do that is simply put this corner and this corner in the canal. So we're putting it right there and I'm just rotating this until both of the corners are in the canal. And we're just going to slice. Now remember, keep this piece because you can use this for another card. And this card is really simple to make. It only uses the card kit pieces along with some additional cardstock. And we all have that. The next thing that we need to do is cut a note card. And I want to remind you, all the measurements will be over on creativemomentsbyg.com listed in the blog, so that you can recreate this card as well. We also have a mat cut because the coordinating colors that they said, one of them was Calypso Coral. So we decided to go ahead and bring in a burst of color. So let's go ahead and lay this down on the back part of our base card. Okay. Now, if this didn't have a design on it, I would go ahead and cut another piece to do a design on this. And I'm going to show you a card later on that does just that. But let's go ahead and get this note card lined up right here on the center of the card. And you want to make sure that it is centered all the way around, that you have the same amount of border on all sides. So let's just go ahead and lay that down. You need to make sure that it will close over that diagonal cut, and it does. So we are bringing in another piece of the coordinating color just so that everything flows. And make sure you stay with us to see those additional cards because we have some fantastic alternatives and some great techniques that we're going to share with you. So now all we have done is we took one of the other cards and we cut out this small mat. Now you could also open up the envelope, and you have seen us do that many times on our other videos, and we just cut apart the envelope and we use that also. But this is one of the cards and we're just going to add that to the front of that note card. And now is when we're going to bring in those beautiful locks and key, and we're going to use some dimensionals. Now I'm just going to put one right at the very back of this. We're just going to stick this, center it, and we're just going to slip this behind, and then we'll just add a little bit of glue right there on this area of the lock. So let's just put a little glue there and a tiny bit right here, just to hold that key in place. Okay. Now we went ahead and we stamped their message that they provided in the kit. You hold the key to my heart, and we're just going to add that right here and just put it down with some glue and just adhere it with some glue. There we have our first card. Now just imagine the possibilities with this. You could emboss a diagonal cut right here that would add to the beauty of it if you have an embossing folder. But if not, just pick out some coordinating cardstock and you have this beautiful card. You can write on the note card. You can also write on the back. So we have our first card. Now let's move on to our second card that we are going to create. And let me show you what it's going to look like. Look at this one. You open it up. You use the key as an actual lock to hold it in place. And I'm going to talk about this technique. So cool. We'll do that a little bit later. So let's bring in our card pieces. We are going to use this card right here. Now, to give us that small area right here, you can cut that off and you can save that piece. So let's go ahead and just get that right where we need it. Bring in your bone folder. And we're going to bring in our trimmer and just cut that part off. Now you can use that for another card. So we have this, and now we're bringing in our circles. Now look at this. We punched out a large coordinating color, and look at this gold. Isn't that beautiful? Now that is an embossing folder. However, if you do not have an embossing folder, you can take your trimmer and make a beautiful circle that has raised lines on it or embossed lines. And all you have to do is put it in your trimmer and simply score. You can score every so often to create an embossed area. Now you can do straight lines or you could do diagonal lines. You can see those embossed lines and you can see them right here. Just gives it a little bit of embossing. You could also draw lines with the pen to give you some interest. So you don't have to run out and buy an embossing folder. But if you have one, just any embossing folder will do. Now, what you can do on this is you could add another cardstock right there. But I'm going to go ahead and just leave this just as it is, and that way we can write in it. So the next thing we need to do is lay this down with some glue. So let's go ahead and stick these two circles together. Now, because this is a 3D embossing folder, you need to really make sure you get your glue down in those crevices. And now we're just going to make sure we have enough of this circle over this to hold it closed. So go ahead and get it centered, and then we're going to take a pencil and mark on the back. So just get it right where you need it, flip it over, and now just put a pencil mark right there. Because this is so thick, go ahead and put it in your trimmer and score it in your trimmer. And now we're just going to fold that back. Okay, we're going to bring this back in, and now we're going to glue this on the back side. Now you can glue it, you can put some tear and tape, whatever you want. I'm just going to put some glue and hold it for a minute. And now we have this flap. Look how pretty that looks. But now we need to have our key, right? So we're bringing in our key from the kit. And I just punched out two circles. And I know that most people have either circle punches, or circle dies. Now I punched two because I wanted to give this some more stability. So just make it a little thicker. So let's go ahead and glue those together. Now we're going to raise that up with two dimensionals right on the back, closer to this side. This circle needs to slip underneath it, right? So let's get that. Now look at that. It holds it right in place. We're going to add our key. Just add some glue to the back. And now we're going to decorate this. We have taken one of the locks and we just added some ribbon to it just to give it dimension, right? So we're going to add this on a dimensional. Just one will be fine. Just going to add that right to the center. So now let's add just a few little rhinestones. And let's take this apart and let's go ahead and stamp our message inside. Let's go ahead and just stamp "To My Valentine" right up here at the very top. And now you simply close it and you put it right underneath your little key. And there is our second card. Look at that. We love this card. Now we understand that it's such an investment to buy the paper pumpkin. So we tried to stay true to what was in the kit so that you could take your kit and recreate these. Now remember, we will have videos linked to the ones that we have YouTube videos on so that you can see exactly how we put it together. But you have our two main ones that we just made. Now look at this one. Remember I said I was going to show you this one. This is taking one of the pieces of vellum that they have in the kit. We took some blends and we just went over the vellum just like that, all over it. We sprayed it with alcohol and then we let it dry. Now you can hurry the process by using your heating tool. Make sure that when it dries, you add it to a white background. Because if you add it to a color background, then this is going to turn out really dark. And you see the vibrant colors that you have? Oh my goodness. So make sure that you add a round circle behind this vellum to really brighten up those colors. And we stamped on it "To My Valentine." Now you could emboss on it if you wanted to, or you could stamp. But make sure that it's really dry before you touch it because vellum is slippery and it will smear. So we have those two just alike, but so easy to make and I think makes a real statement. Now here's the first card that we made, but let me show you another version of it. Look at this one. Now on this one, remember I told you you could actually cut a map for this. Now we used a different card base. We used a colored card base, you can see that, instead of the card that came with the kit. But all you have to do is cut apart the card, turn it into a first mat. And we know that our first mats are 5 1/4 by 4. And then cut it diagonally and it will fit right inside this diagonal cut, leaving a border. And then we simply added those beautiful locks on there and we created our background. Look at, we stamped the lock and the keys to create a beautiful background. So a different look. You know, here we used the card from the kit and here we used our own base card, but we used the card front. We simply cut it apart. Love those two. Now, this one, this is a cute card. We took one of the card fronts and simply cut it down, created a fun fold, and look at that. How cute is that? We stamped our little keys, we cut them out, we stamped our locks and cut them out, added them on dimensionals. We used one of their labels that they included in the kit to stamp our message, and we stamped a key. And this is a great fun fold, very easy to make. It's just a base card and Next, we wanted to create a fun, almost like an advent card. So here we have this beautiful belly band that we used the key and we used their stamp and we raised it up on some dimensionals. But when you open it up, oh my goodness, you get a surprise. Look at this. Each one of our little cards has a stamped message from the kit. Look at that. And then, of course, it's on the front of a card, so it is a card itself. Now, we simply cut this and emboss the top, but once again, you could put it in your trimmer and you could draw lines on it, or you could stamp on it to create some interest. You don't have to use an embossed folder. And then just create that belly band, and once you put it right in the middle, it holds down those flaps. Now, our last 4 cards, I want to just tell you about them. I bet you never thought to use your tissue from your box. Well, we have created 4 cards using this tissue paper that we just feel they're amazing. We absolutely love the way the colors turned out. And we are creating a video in our Technique Tuesday this coming Tuesday, January 24th. Make sure you check out that video at 8 in the morning Mountain Time, because we are going to show you how to use your tissue paper and create these amazing backgrounds. So something that you threw away in the past, you will start to use in all your alternatives. Let me show you one card. We will have a video for this one. It's this beautiful fun fold, but look at this background. Yes, that is the tissue paper. We even stamped on it, creating that beautiful background. Now, what's so interesting is that is the inside of this frame that we created using the tissue. Now, look at that. We used the little cutout with the keyhole in it, added those cute little locks that we stamped in Fussy Cut. We added that frame with the tissue. Oh, this is such a great technique. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. And then we added this to the front of a coordinating color. We love this color. To My Valentine. So here we go. This is simply the frame, and this is the cutout to the frame. Now, you're going to say, that doesn't look like tissue paper. Well, it's a direct result of how we colored the tissue paper. Look at that glorious background. Oh, so pretty. We added our little locks, stuck on a little ribbon, and just very simple to make. We used a white base card. And finally, look at our cute little bridge. Here is the background that we created from the tissue paper on the sides. You can see it. And look at this. There's a surprise. Here we go. To My Valentine, love is the key. We will have a video for you on this with a link below this video. Well, we hope that you loved these cards. We had so much fun creating these alternatives, and we wanted to stay true to the kit. So really, we only added the embossing folder and the circle dies, which we feel like most people do have. We added some coordinating cardstock that they recommend. But go out, have fun with this kit. Maudie and I are excited to see what you do. Make it a fantastic day. And remember, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Watch our Technique Tuesday coming out tomorrow. Bye-bye.